Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi there and good afternoon. Previously in the last lectures, we went in a journey, right? We started from what is drama, how it developed, where it began, how it began, and then we moved to classical drama, and we were introduced to drama, the Western form of drama, again, how it developed from the chorus, right? And then we were introduced to Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides, and their works as well, their significance. Then we saw how drama died, and then we moved to the Middle Ages, in which we saw how drama got its rebirth from the church, correct? We saw how drama moved from church to God, to the market, and in the market, priests from the church hoped that drama would die again, but it was embraced by the trade guilds, and they were not professionals, of course, but they held drama annually in the festival of Corpus Christi. Then special things started to appear. Between plays, there was this comic, non-religious, social, cultural comic relief that started to, show great interest of people. So people eventually started to demand more of these comic reliefs. So they grew bigger. Bit by bit, they became entire scenes. Then they became independent plays. These plays were called interludes. And the interlude actors, they were not like the trade guilds, unprofessional, and some people know they were professional actors, like the Roman actors who received money for their acting, so they considered it as an occupation, and they moved from town to town. They were outcasts and homeless people right at the beginning, and then they were not even able to write, so they would, while they would travel, they would, make up the verses and agree on what they would do in the next town, and they would go from town to town, and they would perform at the, in the yards and the courts and the squares, whatever. Then, sooner or later, they got involved with the new learning. The Renaissance came, So, special plays started to be performed to a special audience. Courts of princes, earls, and prestigious people, and also, most importantly, in universities. So they influenced the students at universities, and students also influenced them. So we started to see students or recently graduated students writing plays for those people, those actors. And that was actually the link in the chain to the golden age of drama, in which we have permanent theaters and companies. To that world, Christopher Marlowe was born. As they say, he breathed a new spirit into drama, right? He wrote in verse, in blank verse, wrote dramas. He was a poet and a playwright. And throughout his career that lasted only for 5 years, he wrote wonderful plays like Jewel Malta, The Great Tambourine, and Christopher Marlowe's greatest achievement was Dr.Faustus. Now we're going to delve into one of his great plays, Dr.Faustus. We can analyze it bit by bit. So, are you ready? Yeah. Okay. So, are you familiar with the characters or not?
Yes.
Let's just make quick refreshments. Dr. John Faustus, and we're not allowed to call him Faustus. Remember that. He's Dr. Faustus, correct? Okay? Wagner, who is the servant of Dr. Faustus and also plays the role of the chorus. The three scholars, the good and bad angel, Lucifer, Mephistopheles, Beelzebub, these are the demons, old man, different fools and clowns, the Pope, and the apostles. Well, these are generally the actors. We might have missed one or two, but they're insignificant. So, now you remember Euripides, right? Euripides was the one who introduced the prologue for the first time. We have a prologue here. We know its function, okay? And he was also the one who reduced the number and size of the chorus, correct?
Right.
Now, Christopher Marlowe took that seriously. He made the chorus only one actor, and additionally, he's a character in the play. So it's not just the chorus; he's also a character. A character in the play is Dr. Faustus' servant, Wagner or Wagner, if you want to pronounce it right, because that's a German character and the W is pronounced Wagner. So, should we start? Yeah. Prologue, enter chorus. Not marching now on fields of Prasimane, where Mars did late the Carthaginians, nor sporting in the dalliance of love, and courts of kings where state is overturned, nor in the pomp of proud judicious deeds intends our muse to bound his heavenly verse. Only this, gentlemen, we must perform, the form of Faustus' fortunes, good or bad. To patient judgments we appeal our flaw, and speak for Faustus in his infancy. Now is he born, his parents' base of stock, in Germany within a town called Rose, of riper years to Wittenberg he reached, whereas his kinsmen chiefly brought him wrong. So soon he profits in divinity, the fruitful plot of scholarism graced, that shortly he was placed for doctrine. Excellent all whose sweet delight disputes in heavenly matters of theology, till swollen with cunning of a self-conceit, his waxing wings did mount above his reach, and melting heavens conspired his overthrow, for falling to a devilish exercise, and glutted more with learning's golden gifts, he serpents upon cursed necromancy. Nothing so sweet as magic is to him, which he prefers before his cheapest bliss. And this the man in his study sits. Exit chorus. Okay, so the chorus provides us with a lot of information. True. He introduces us to the play, saying that this is not about war, and he describes war in a very delicate and smart way. He uses a syntactic. You know what a syntactic it is? We didn't explain that? Oh, so a syntactic is when a part of something represents the whole. Okay? So what is this? If I tell you, take this and go to the grocery store, what do I really mean?
Take the car.
Take the key or take the car? Take the car. So this represents not just the key, but represents the entire car. Okay? So this is called a synecdoche. Is when a part represents the whole. So we have Mars. Mars is the Roman god of war. Okay? When Mars met the Carthaginians, there was a civilization called Carthage. They went in great war with the Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire conquered them and extinguished them. They do not exist anymore after that. Okay? So he's giving a very beautiful description. Mars representing the Roman Empire and the entire Roman machine of war. Okay? So where Mars met the Carthaginians, when the Romans met the Carthaginians. Okay? So is this about the Roman wars?
No.
No. Is it about legends of Odysseus? Are you familiar with Odysseus? Odysseus was a Greek king who participated in the Trojan Wars. He is the one who devised the horse trick. And because of that trick, he was a good king, a noble king. He didn't participate in slaughtering the Trojans, is a thing. But he was the one who devised that trick, that plan, Trojan horse. So when he wanted to return to his kingdom, Poseidon, the god of the sea, punished him, cursed him for devising that plan. So he was lost in the sea for 10 years. And it was an adventure, a legendary, terrifying to a certain extent adventure. So because of that, the Odyssey is written, it's an epic. And because of that epic, now we relate every legendary achievement or legendary adventure to Odysseus. You probably played Assassin's Creed. Okay, and there is one part of it called the Odyssey. Correct?
Yes.
Meaning that it's a great adventure, just like the one in Odysseus. So is this about great legendary achievements or adventures like the one of Odysseus or Odysseus? No. Is it about love?
No.
No, it is not. It is about the fate of one man, good or bad. And the judgment would be ours. We will view it and we will judge it. What else do we have? Now, the prologue takes us back in a flashback. This flashback is before the events of the play. So we have a timeline, and this flashback goes before the events of this time. And he tells us about Dr. Faustus. He was born in Germany in a town called Rhodes to parents base of stock. And base of stock means completely rock, flat rock. They had nothing. And he was mainly brought up by his cousins. And from a very young age, he showed signs of intelligence. He was given a scholarship, and soon he went to Wittenberg, and he was raised with a doctor's degree. Does this all remind you of someone that we've discussed before? Who? Christopher Marlowe himself. Look at the similarities. Very poor, flat, broke, showing signs of intelligence from an early age, getting a scholarship, going to probably the best university in the country, okay, and being raised with a doctor's name, or at least a professor, right? We're gonna tackle these similarities at the end. Okay, so yeah, and then the prologue moves on to provide us with another synecdoche and also a foreshadow at the same time. He refers to the waxing wings. It's a pot, waxing wings. These waxing wings refer or they show the character of Icarus. And Icarus is a mythological character in Greek mythology. He and his father were able to make magical weapons for gods and for some kings. one of the kings captured them, locked them in a tower, and told them that from now on you're going to make weapons only for me. So the father, Icarus's father, brought some wax, some feathers, and he created 2 pairs of wings. 1 pair for his son and 1 pair for him. Before they fly from the tower, he told him, Icarus, don't fly near to the sun, because the wax will melt and you will fall. So they escaped, they flew, everything, the plan was successful. But when they were over the ocean, Icarus had this sense of pride. In a way or another, he felt like he's a godlike, or a god. So he started flipping and playing around, going up and down, and then he flew up, till he reached a certain point that is very near to the sun. The wax melted and he fell. Icarus did not fall to the ground. He fell to the bottom of the ocean. So it's a synecdoche. He just gave us the wings, okay? And we must relate to Icarus, right? A part representing the whole. And the story of Icarus foreshadows the tragic end of Icarus, foreshadows, mirrors actually, the tragic end of Dr. Faustus. Dr. Faustus is in a high place near to heaven, okay? And he will fall not to the ground, but to the bottom of hell. Get it? Okay. Well, the golden gifts are the golden gifts of magic, of course, but let me ask you some. These 2 lines, in one way or another, I need you to memorize them because we're gonna mention them a lot in our analysis. Nothing so sweet as magic is to him, which he prefers before his chiefest bliss. What is the chiefest bliss? To you. Mercy. God's mercy. Thank you. God's mercy is the chiefest bliss. So Dr. Faustus prefers magic to God's mercy. So let's go for scene 1. Scene 1, enter Faustus in his study. Settle thy studies, Faustus, and begin to sound the depth of that thou wilt profess. Having commenced, be a divine in show, yet level at the end of every art. So, Dr. Faustus is going to discuss the 4 branches of knowledge that he professed. He wants to see whether they will serve him or have they served him rightly or not. And he promises to be fair to every branch of knowledge. And live and die in Aristotle's works, sweet athletics, as though has traditionally, he reads in Latin. Now remember, these writings in Latin and the readings in Latin are meant for a reason, because at the time, the language of the scholars was still Latin. Is to dispute well logic's chiefest end? Affords this art no greater miracle? Then read no more, thou hast attained the end, a greater subject fitteth Faustus' wit. So he wonders with himself. Of course, this is a soliloquy. He's alone talking to himself. Okay? And he wonders, is the goal of philosophy is only to dispute will? Doesn't it have any other aim? If it is so, then I have achieved that. And then I do not need to read or study more philosophy. So philosophy is now out of the question. It has served him, but this is enough. A greater subject must fit Faustus's wit. Be a physician, Faustus, heap up gold, and be eternized for some wondrous cure. Reads in Latin, moves on. The end of physic is our body's health. Why Faustus hast thou not attained that end? Is not thy common talk found aphorism? Are not thy bills hung up as monuments? Whereby whole cities have escaped the plague, and thousand desperate melodies been eased. What are those thoughts of Faustus and a man? Couldst thou make men to live eternally, or being dead, raise them to life again? This profession were to be esteemed, physic, where, well, of course, by physic he means medicine. And he states that the aim of medicine is, to observe the body's health, correct? And he wonders, haven't I done this? I did. My prescriptions are hung as monuments. Apparently the city was infected by plague, and he saved the city. He eased a lot of illness. Okay? Yet he states that still I'm just a man. I couldn't make men live forever, and I couldn't raise the dead. So he's referring to the limitations of medicine, correct? But at the same time, he's referring to something else. Question: who can make men live forever, or who can raise them from death? God. So in an indirect way, Dr. Faustus is telling us that he wants to be a godlike, but in a discreet way, in an indirect way. Now we move to the third branch of knowledge. Where is Justinian? Justinian is an ancient European king who is known for laying some laws. Okay? Where is Justinian? A pretty case of paltry legacies. Such is the subject of the Institute and universal body of the law. This study fits some mercenary drudge who aims at nothing but external trash to survive an illegal. So now he moves to discussing law. And he describes the practice of law as suiting mercenaries who aim only for money. And he already mentioned also when he spoke about medicine that, well, he does not need money. Well, he's a professor, right? So he's definitely well-to-do. He's not interested in material gains. He's not a mercenary drudge. It's limited in his study. It's not very liberal. He wants something bigger than that. So again, he renounces, he rejects, he refuses the study of law. Now, he asks the question, why is he really discussing these three branches of knowledge? What is the base of these so-called fields of knowledge? What is common, at least at the time, between them, or among them? Yeah?
Creating all human lives?
No. Thank you. I'll tell you. The essence, the root of law is divinity at the time, at his time. And the root of philosophy is divinity. And even medicine, whether at his time or after his time, is in one way or another related again to divinity. So divinity is the base of all three. So yeah. So by refusing them one after the other, as if he's making an introduction, making an entry to attack divinity itself. Get it? So as if he's clearing the way in order to attack divinity, or discuss, or dispute, as he puts it. So now he's going to dispute and reject divinity. When all is done, divinity is best. Jerome's Bible, Faustus, view it well. Do you think he's going to view it well? Let's see. He reads a verse from the Bible. The reward of sin is death. That's hard. If we say that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and there's no truth in us. Why then be like we must sin, and so consequently die? We must die an everlasting death. What doctrine called you this? What will be shall be. Divinity, a Jew. Okay, so Dr. Faustus opens the Bible. He reads half verse, not an entire verse. He reads the half, or the first half that speaks about the reward of sin is death. And he neglects reading the other half, which speaks about God's mercy. And he starts to dispute only half informations. So, the reward of sin is death, that's hard. You must die an everlasting death. This is not logical enough for him, okay? And what will be shall be. No matter what the consequences are, religion, divinity, adieu. He abandons, renounces religion. Okay, so what is the alternative of religions? By the way, he did all this in order to convince himself that it is okay to reject religion, okay, and embrace something different. The alternative is balance. These metaphysics of magicians and necromantic books are heavenly. Lines, circles, schemes, letters, and characters. These are those that Faustus most desires. Oh, what a world of profit and delight, of power, of honor, of omnipotence is promised to the studious artisan. All things that rule between the quiet walls shall be at my command. Emperors and kings are but obeyed in their several provinces, nor can they raise the wind or rend the clouds. But his dominion that exceeds in this stretches as far as doth the mind of man. A sound magician is a mighty god. Here, Faustus, try thy brains to gain and deed. Now, when he discussed medicine, he was a bit discreet about wanting to become a god, right? But after renouncing divinity, well, he's getting more bold. He's encouraged to express what he really wants. And we can see clearly that Dr. Faustus is confused, deluded from the words. These necromantic books are heavenly. These are contrastive descriptions, right? They're demonic, but he describes them as what? Heavenly. And he states that the student of magic is promised with power, honor, and omnipotence. Omnipotence is godly powers. What else? Now, he's trying to express being a god or being a godlike gradually, one by one. Okay? So, omnipotence, then kings and emperors are only have control in their provinces. They can't move or control the winds and the clouds. Who can do that? Only God can do that, and He is aspiring to control the wind and the cloud by using magic. So again, He wants to be a godlike. Also control the mind of men. And then at the end, he states it clearly. A sound magician is a mighty god. A powerful magician is a mighty god. Here Faustus tried our brains, worked your brains to become one, to become a god. Enter Wagner. Wagner, command me to my dearest friends, the German Valdez and Cornelius, request them earnestly to visit me. I will, sir, exit. Their conference will be a greater help to me than all my labors. Blood I never sowed fast. So apparently, Dr. Faustus have two friends who are magicians. Okay? Apparently, they spoke about it before, they tried to convince him before, and now he's totally convinced, though he summons them in order to help him or teach him how to be a magician as fast as possible, because all in all, he will take some time, and he is in a haste, he's in a rush. Now, again, Dr. Faustus all alone in his study, and now we're introduced to two very unique, very distinguished characters.
Just a second, please. Hold on.
Okay, so we have two characters, the good angel. What's wrong with this bench? It's evil angel. Right? These characters are not real characters. They're in his mind. In order to show them, Christopher Marlowe takes them from his mind and puts them on the stage. And literally speaking, in terms of literary terms, this is called allegory. These are allegorical characters. An allegory is the representation of ideas and objects as characters on the stage. This is as old as literature itself. So you have, for example, Beauty and the Beast. I'm sure you remember Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have the pot and the small cup, right? These are characters in Beauty and the Beast. And we have Tom and Jerry. Exactly, having the good and evil angel. Correct? You remember that episode? It's wonderful. This is from a literary point of view. They are allegories, representations of ideas and objects as characters on the stage. But there is another point of view, especially in this play, a psychological approach, a psychological point of view. in which these two characters represent something else. The evil angel represents defect in the Freudian models of psychoanalysis, and the good angel represents the super being. So what is it? You guys remember? You studied this last year. Okay, let's keep it short, yeah?
The verbal history is that, but the unreleased things, it's not
Okay.
itself, but just by itself.
No, good thing. What else? What do you remember? Okay, it is the unlimited, unrestricted, animalistic, basic desires. Again, unlimited, unrestricted, animalistic, basic desires. So, for example, I want money. I need money. So I go rob this guy. Or rob a bank. Simple as that. I hate someone to the extent that I will kill him. So I'll go kill him. That is it. And we all probably live this moment. You see someone that you don't like, you say, oh, I wish I can kill him. Right? That is your id speaking, one way or another. Okay? But the id is stopped, restricted, balanced. By another force. And by the way, we do have these sounds in our minds, right? Do you guys have them? If you have them, raise your hands. Okay, do you have these voices? One of them telling you to do a good thing, one of you telling you to do a bad thing. Huh? Do you have them? Thank goodness, so I'm not crazy. Right? Yeah. I thought I'm the only one. Yeah, so it is balanced by the superego. What is super? Yeah.
Perfection, to be a model, to be a private person.
Okay, so all the aspiration, everything that you aspire to be, the perfect version of you, the moral, angelic version of you. Okay? So it restricts the it, and also the it restricts the super being. So you're balanced as a normal human being. You are balanced. And this is you. Right in the middle. Okay? This is the actual manifestation of your real character. This is me and you and you and each and every one of us. It is the outcome of that, of those two forces pulling each other. Okay? So sometimes you see someone who's a bit, you know, just a little bit going with his head, or sometimes just a little bit going with his superego, and you're characterized according to what force that will pull you more. So if you're an edge, or you go towards your head, you lean towards your head, then you're gonna be in a way, a demonic person for a bit. But if you go to an extreme, guess what you will become? A killer, a psycho, a serial killer, a rapist, something like. You know, they asked the officer, the Nazi officer who supervised the camps of execution by gas chambers, in the trial, in the Nuremberg trial. And they asked him, they said, "You killed thousands of people. Don't you have any regrets?" And his answer was catastrophic. He said, if your task or if your job is to kill rats, would you feel regret for the rats? That is the most brutal and vicious answer you can ever get. This man was a pure id. He had no remorse, he had no guilt, he had no super ego. His ego and id became one. He is worse than an animal. Those were people, children, women, young men, old people. He killed them all, thousands of them. And what if you lean towards your supreme? What will happen? I'll tell you what will happen. Nelson Mandela will happen. Gandhi will happen. Malcolm X will happen. Martin Luther King will happen. Abraham Lincoln will happen. A lot of good people that stood for other people, not for the desires and personal gains, will happen. So this is basically what id and superhero are, and what you are in general is a manifestation between the two forces. Yeah, so we have Dr. Faustus standing in the middle of these two characters. And now each one of them is going to give a speech, and then Dr. Faustus will respond. Now, if you take a look at the page, you will notice something very strange. I actually noticed it today. Look at the lines. How many lines for the good angels? 4. And how many lines for the bad angel or the evil angel? Also 4. So they're equal even in the lines that they say. So up to this moment, he is in one way or another balanced, right? Let's see. Good angel. O Faustus, lay that damning book aside, and gaze not on it, lest it tempt thy soul, and heap God's heavy wrath upon thy head. Read the scriptures. That is blasphemy. Go forward, Faustus, in that famous art, wherein all nature's treasury is contained. Be thou on earth as Job in the sky, Lord and commander of these elements. And they both exit. Now, the evil angel is telling Dr. Faustus, by the way, Job or Jehovah is the Hebrew name of God. Okay? So, he's telling Dr. Faustus that you can be a God on earth as God is in the sky. Equal to him. Now, one of them is telling him that this is blasphemy, the other telling him that this is a famous art that will bring you a lot of different things. And they leave the final judgment, the final choice to Faustus himself. We'll see, or let's see how he responds. How am I glutted with conceit of this? Shall I make spirits fetch me what I please, resolve me of all ambiguities, perform what desperate enterprise I will? I'll have them fly to India for gold, ransack the ocean for orient pearls, and search all corners of the new-found world for pleasant fruits and princely delicates. I'll have them read me strange philosophy, and tell the secrets of all foreign kings. I'll have them wall all Germany with brass, and make swift rhyme circle fair witty. I'll have them fill the public schools with silk, wherein the students shall be bravely clad. I'll levy soldiers with the coin they bring, and chase the Prince of Parma from our land, and reign sole king of all our provinces. Yeah, stranger engines for the brunt of woe than was the fairy keel at Antwerp's bridge. I'll make my servile spirit to invent. Come, come, German Valdez and Cornelius, and make me blessed with your sage conference.
Oh,
Let me ask you a question. If a genie appeared to you right now and told you that you have 3 wishes, what would the first wish be? Yeah?
Yes, can it's about another wish.
Another wish? No, that's a trick. You can't have another wish. Yeah. What would it be? What would you choose? Well, for me, I will say at least $10 million, right? Even if I'm rich, even if I'm well-to-do, I'll ask for $10 million. This is, for security reasons, right? Yeah, but then I would think of something else, something greater than money, like Okay, so you see that at the beginning of his speech, Dr. Faustus is, seeking for pearls, princely gifts, and stuff like that. But then the true Dr. Faustus appears. His intentions appear. And what does he want with all this power? First, what will he do? He would let them treat him strange philosophy. Because at the end, he's a professor. He's a scholar, right? So he's eager to learn something new. What else? He will have them wall Germany with brass. A thick wall, brass to protect Germany. Not just that, to unify Germany. Because if you don't know, after the fall of the Holy Roman Empire, which is Germany in a sense, was not Roman, was not holy at any rate, but it was called like that. Germany became a divided nation, a very warring nation, and all the time there were invaders, whether from Russia, from other countries. Germany, or at least a part of Germany, was always invaded. So for a long time, the dream of the German people was to be unified again under one flag, under one state. And that didn't happen until, a few years before the First World War. It was called the Second War. And then came Second World War, and we have again another unification, which ended with the Third Reich, and you know what happened after that. So he wants to unify Germany. What else does he want? Make swift ride, circle fair with you. Now I want you to put or underline this statement. What's it called? It's called fair with you. Right? We're gonna get back to this at the end. So his home, he wants to take care of his home. He wants to bring silk into public school, public people. He wants to take care of students. What else? He wants to levy soldiers, give them all the fun they bring. He wants to chase out the prince that apparently is occupying the country. Now tell me that these are not noble endings. So what do you think of Dr. Faustus? Is he a good person or a bad person? Or is he a noble person or a villain? Of course he's a good guy. He's a tragic hero. He's very noble. He is very good. But he's got one tragic flaw in this. And he believes that the end justifies, the means justify the end. One way or another, he believes in the Machiavellian concept. You've heard of Machiavelli? Okay? He's the one who said that the end justifies the means. So, we will see whether this is right or wrong, true or not. Can we, or can Dr. Faustus practice magic to do something that is good for the humanity, or good for the country, or good for the people? We'll see about that. Will it corrupt him, or will it really make him path drive? We'll see about that. But for now, all what we need to understand that our character is a noble, good character. He aims well. He's a good person. Okay? Oof. Hopefully, in the next lectures, we will be introduced to Dr. Faustus' friends, Valdes and Cornelius, okay, who are magicians, and we're gonna close out with scene 1. Scene 2 is very short, and it's not gonna take more than 5 to 6 minutes to discuss. Then we're gonna move to scene 3. Keep in mind, we have a tragic scene, then a comic scene, a tragic scene, then a comic scene. So prepare scene 3. We're gonna hopefully have it all next lecture. Any questions? You have a question?
Actually, I got to about
Yeah. Selfish? How do I?
like he wanted to unite just Germany, not the entire world.
It's his nation.
That's it.
Really? What would you hope for your country?
I would hope for all the world.
Okay, but especially your country holds, or your nation holds a certain place in your thoughts.
I had the chance to unite, so I
Okay, so because of the suffering, because he looks at Germany and sees its suffering, so he wants to end his suffering first, right? As a German nationalist, right? Stop being selfish. What else? You concluded that all from that segment?
and I will have them roll the local skills with silk.
Listen.
So just the local skills for about
You need to understand something. There was the aristocrats, and then there was everyone else, or actually everything else, because they wouldn't consider public people as he is. Okay, so he is more interested in the public people, the civilians. Okay, not the aristocrats, because they have their own private schools. Get it? Okay. Any questions? Yeah.
Hence, the Faustus was protected from the country by units.
Excuse me?
Can you depend on his country by money?
Not always, because money won't free you from occupations.
Why?
Well, because occupations come by power, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so money wouldn't do anything. He wants power.
It might
Power would bring money, but money do not necessarily bring power. Get it? What else? Any questions? Okay, if you don't have any questions, then with this we've come to the end of our lecture. Thank you very much indeed.